Well, welcome everybody and welcome back to another stat show. And I've got to say, I'm quite excited about this one because we're going to dive a little deeper into Paul's stats, but we're also going to look and share with you a round of golf that Paul had at the end of the, kind of right at the beginning of the season, wasn't it? It was just a chance to go through his round of golf. I went out and filmed him around Teignmouth, and it was actually in a tournament. So we've got the stats kind of that link to where you were at that point within your game. I know you've been playing quite a bit of golf throughout this season, playing in pro-ams and things, so your game has maybe changed or shifted a little bit.
It's funny you've chosen this one, isn't it?
Well, it's funny we picked this day, isn't it? Now, this video is obviously statistics based as such, but there is so much that goes on in a round of golf, and it's a great opportunity to actually pick Paul's brain as to the psychology side of things as well, and how you deal with a round of golf, how you deal with the ups and the downs when you're in a game. So hopefully this should be able to help you guys. Well, Paul, let's just get going, shall we? Hole one. Yeah. I want you to just do a little running commentary as we kind of go around. I'll jump in as well with certain things, but obviously just talk us through the holes and things as we kind of go on from there. Let's go.
So first hole at Teignmouth, short par 5, quite a tight tee shot off the first.
Subtle dogleg from right to left.
A little bit, it is. It's on a slope, the fairway.
It
so
cambers from right to left. So up the right is the shot, isn't it? With a little draw.
You don't have to draw it, but you need it kind of landing up the right so it falls down on the left. So pretty good tee shot there with driver.
220 in.
220 is it?
Yeah.
So just left a little forward in here. Ball's quite a way above your feet, which you can't really see there. And as you can see the shot tracer, it's just tailing off a little bit left, but it's not a bad leave there. It's quite a narrow entrance there with trees left and right, so that's not a bad position to be in too. Just left myself a little chip up the green here, which was quite an easy shot to that pin. So expecting to get this reasonably close to give myself a chance at a birdie, and that was a pretty good shot there. I was quite pleased with that.
Can we just have one footnote for this as well? As you can see, this is coming to the beginning of the season coming in, so the greens have just been hollow cored, they've just been sanded, there has been some work done on them, which is probably going to make them a fraction slow.
It's going to make them slow, a bit bumpy, but you've got to deal with this. You're going to get this at some point in the year. Hit a good putt there, just either over borrowed or the green just didn't kind of take the break as I was hoping. So it wasn't a bad putt, but
feel like you're giving one back?
Feel like I've left a shot out there really already.
Okay.
Because you should be birdieing that first hole. Certainly if you're looking to win the tournament, you're going to need a
par 3 up the hill?
Yeah, nice short par 3. Probably hitting about a 9-iron in here or something.
It is a 9, you're right.
It is, yeah. And it's a,
about
I think
145.
The flag is at the back, so you're looking to get it back on that back ridge. Just sort of turn that one over a little bit too much there. But I think it was pin high, so it's in pretty good shape.
It's designed by Mackenzie, this golf course, interestingly. So there is some subtle Mackenzies around this, and getting it onto this back shelf is really, really important for this back pin. Yeah,
so just looking to get this down close, I think it's about 30 feet, and just completely misjudged the speed of this, and left myself maybe 4 or 5 feet back for par. So quite a bit of break on this putt, and as you can see, I've completely underread that or pulled it, either, and that's not a good start. So I'm 1 over par now through where I should really be 1 under.
I was going to say, so you feel even though you're only 1 over, you actually feel like you're given 2 shots to the golf course at this point.
So this is a drivable par 4, but it's a tight hole, and it's probably not one you should always hit driver on. It's probably a 50-50 decision, I think. And I've hit this up the right, and I thought it was fine, but it was actually lost ball, so I had to go back to the tee and play another one, which is not good now. So I'm really up against it here.
And what are you thinking right now when you wander back to the tee? How are you kind of dealing with the emotions of all of that? You just lost your ball. You're already 1 over. You feel like you're 2 over.
It's difficult because I had to. I thought the first shot was fine, so I had to go back to the tee, which is obviously extra stress that you don't want going on. So now I'm sort of chipping here for my 4th shot.
Tricky little shot as well.
It was, yeah. There's a big, you can't see there's a big downslope after that bunker towards the pin, so you've got to play it quite precisely. But gave myself a putt for a 5, and as you can see, I've missed that one. Yeah, the putter's not working very well today, as you can tell.
Is that what you're feeling at that stage during the round?
I was at that point of the year, this year I wasn't putting well at all.
Just pauses there.
Yeah, I haven't been putting well at all.
Right, okay.
The stats were suggesting that it was costing me 2.5 shots a round on a Tour Pro.
Okay.
So, which I think equates to roughly a 15 handicap golfer I was putting like. So, things have improved since then, and my putting has come on a hell of a lot.
Just whilst we're pausing it there, let's just talk about, just give me some statistics really from your driving point of view. Obviously you've lost a golf ball here.
Yeah.
Historically and statistics wise, you tell me, but your driving is always pretty good. I mean, if you see anybody out there, I mean, it's very rare that you miss it to the right a lot of the time.
No, I think my misses to the right off the tee are 10%.
Right.
So I think I'm 50-60% fairway, and then maybe 20 to 30% left. So if there's ever a bad shot I'm going to hit, it's generally not going to go right. So that allows me to kind of aim more up the right side of the golf course, and then play for my natural draw, based on the theory that it shouldn't necessarily go right, because I don't tend to miss it right. But it was quite unfortunate on that last hole there where I've just blocked it a little bit, but obviously there's a lot of trouble down the right. So it was a bad tee selection, really.
Emotionally, do you feel like it was possibly a reaction to the last 2 holes?
Completely, yeah.
You went for it, you were playing a little bit more aggressive? Because when I play golf with Paul, and certainly over the years you watch him play in the vlogs, and you probably can't see it quite as well as I can see it when I'm standing directly behind him, but whereas I will get, when I hit a shot, I'll draw it, I'll get a bit more draw on it. Yeah. So you see me starting it in a little bit more right of fairway, maybe sometimes even in the trouble, and then bringing it back. Whereas your start position is, if you're starting it right of target, you're starting it, right half of the fairway. You're never sort of pushing yourself into that. So having it start position that far right is just a reaction to possibly trying to hit it a little bit harder.
No, I think it's more of a reaction of just being a little bit upset at being what I thought in my head was 2 over the winning score already. Yeah. And I was kind of pushing, and I don't think I took enough time over that tee shot or selected the right shot at the time. Yeah. So I think it was more of a mental mistake on that tee as a reaction of what's happened before, and really you shouldn't be letting that affect you.
Well, and actually, like you said, 10%. You shouldn't work around 10%, should you? In some ways. No. As a miss. 90% of the time you're over this side. Yeah. Only 10%. 1 in 10 shots are going to be slightly down the right hand side, and certainly not that far right.
Exactly.
But actually, to be fair to that shot, it wasn't actually that far right.
It wasn't that bad, and I didn't even hit a provisional because I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's more of a management problem.
Right, moving on to the 4th. Yeah. Great little par 4, but 3 wood in hand.
It's a 3 or 4 wood, that one there. Yeah. So this tee shot was fine. Slightly left again. You can see I've got a lot of draw going on today on this round of golf, but that's absolutely fine there.
Just left of the fairway
with maybe just a short iron in, and I've got a feeling we're slightly into wind here, so I'm going to try and punch this and keep it down low, keep it out of the wind, and hit a pretty good shot here from what I remember.
Pin's kind of at the front right in the middle.
Yeah, it was good, and it was feeding down towards the hole there.
So it kicks off that trap on the right hand side there. So.
Probably left myself 15 feet, putt for birdie. So this would be good to make this, to try and get myself back into it. And I did hit a very good putt there. And
did you see that bubble there? Just a little jump. A little jump.
But you're not gonna hold as many of those on those sort of greens when they've just been done than what you would do if they're pure. So
par 3 down the hill.
Par 3.
I think you've hit 8 iron here. Or maybe a 7 if I remember.
It would be a shortish iron.
Again, slightly into breeze.
And I've just overturned it again. It's found the green, but it's left myself a long putt up here, probably.
Sneaky little pin though.
Yeah.
Tucked in on the right hand side for someone that's drawing the ball. I mean, you're having to start that right of target if you're going to get it on target, aren't you? The way you're playing.
The way I'm playing that day with that sort of big draw, so it's a tough pin for me.
Long putt,
and then just trying to clear this one up, maybe from 3 feet, and I've just smashed that way too hard. Probably a reaction to the greens, and I've done something here that I've never done in probably 10 years, which is just walk up to it and hit it from a short putt, and that's something I completely am against, and I never do. So you can tell I'm really frustrated there.
So the head has actually rolled off at this point.
Completely gone off the
shoulder. And so, tell me, obviously I've got camera on you. How are you like, because you play in front of camera on a regular basis as such with regards to vlogging or when we do these sorts of videos, you know, how is it, did you feel anything different when the camera was on you for this particular video? Because this is your first experience on camera in a tournament.
For me, when the camera's on me, it kind of pushes you one way or the other. It kind of makes you, sometimes it focuses me more, and if I get more focused, I can also play better. Yeah. But I think also if you're having a bad day, I think it may push you back a little bit, and you know, because everything's being scrutinised at this point. Yeah. And you don't want people seeing you hitting bad shots and whatnot, and you want to try and do your best so people can enjoy what they're watching. So it does intensify things, but I think it can push you one way or the other, definitely.
Solid long par 3 here. This is it's actually a really tough start, isn't it? Really, sometimes at Teignmouth, especially when you get to this hole. I will give a footnote that we have missed out a hole. If you know Teignmouth Golf Club, you'll know that we've missed out a hole. They actually took that one out of play and then left one, put another one in later on in the round. So,
but yeah, I've just duck hooked a long iron there, and I've left myself with a tough chip, and I played this really well, and it's just not. If it just releases over that little knoll, it goes down pretty close, and you see there's a downhill putt.
And historically, that's quick down there. Yeah. Greens being slower, that's not the case on this situation, but. Again, even that, I mean, it's hard to leave that short from there. Yeah, and I'm in a really bad situation now, 6 over after 6 holes. So this is, you're at a position here where you realise you're not going to win today, and all you can do really now from this point is try and get as good a finish as you can. A lot of people give up completely, and that's when they go and shoot high 80s and whatnot. But I've kind of learned over the years, you've just got to get everything out you can out of a round, because you're going to get bad days. You're going to get however many bad days a year, and you've just got to do your best to get that back. So yeah, and that's one of the strengths of my game there. That pitching sort of under 50, between 100 to 50 yards. Yeah, that's my strength, and the Shotscope stats will suggest that as well. And that was a good birdie there, and it kind of refocuses you a little bit. Even though however bad you're playing, if you chuck a birdie in, it gives you a bit of a shot of something just to keep you going. Yeah. So this is a par 5 here, the next hole. Wind out the right a little bit. A little bit, yeah. So moving off from a birdie, then you're now thinking, right, well, opportunity here as well. Yeah, absolutely. On a par 5 that you can almost get up into. I don't think I hit the best strike of that tee shot, so I've got a long way in here for probably a 3-wood in. Long way into this hole, so just trying to get up as close as I can. Just up the left side, that one. Yeah, where it finished. And then, looking to try and up and down it for birdie is the plan here. But yeah, it's you just got to keep fighting when you're having bad rounds like this. Because you will turn it into mid 80s, and a lot of people do that. Even good players, you even see people on tour shooting in the 80s, and you think, well, how have they done that? And a lot of the time, it's not because they've hit that many bad shots; it's because they've just given up. The mindset is that they've gone with it. Yeah. So putt here for birdie. Just left the pitch a little bit short, and I hit a pretty good putt there, and you can see it's just finished straight behind the hole. But that's I know you're missing putts here, but I don't feel that you're hitting bad putts. No. There's a little bubble here. There's a little not quite over reading them, maybe just fractionally, and that being long. Yeah. There's a couple of early short ones that were bad putts that I missed, and that's that is probably my Achilles heel at the moment, is my short sort of putts between 3 to 6 foot. I was find that tee shot quite a dangerous tee shot. It gets quite windy at the top of that hill there. Hole. And it's quite narrow, long par 4, heather both sides. You get caught up in that, and you're in a bit of trouble, aren't you? But getting yourself into a decent spot there, short of the green. Yeah, it caught you out a bit. Just probably hit the wrong club, or not quite struck it well. This here, I played a really good chip, but you probably noticed that first bounce, it just kicked on so hard. So well, considering how slow the greens have been, look at how much that's run out from there. Yeah, it just got a nasty little kick on the first bounce, which sent it way past the hole. So I got this for par. And it just wasn't hit hard enough really on that line. So another drop shot, so that's quite frustrating. So I've given that birdie back now. Good par 3 this, over a little canyon. Yeah, little canyon, and again, I'm just sort of... head's gone.
It's not. It's
a yellow
not,
card.
I think it's a head gone. That's just a frustration of missing it left all day. Certainly with the irons.
Yeah, well, wind out of the right quite a bit there.
Exactly. And
uphill putt.
Yeah, this for birdie. So slightly uphill that you can't really see. It took a big jump there that to start with, which probably affected the line.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad putt.
You see that little trail of line there as you've putted up there. Do you keep an eye on those when you're playing?
Yeah, I mean you don't get very often the opportunity of seeing those because generally the greens have been cut or whatever in the morning, but because these have been top dressed and whatever, they weren't cutting them that day. And you do get to see the dew line, and I always think it's a great way of practicing your putting is to get out when it's like that, and because practicing your read of the putts, because it basically just shows you what your putt's done. It's like shot tracer, isn't it?
So good tee shot up the left-hand side with the fairway wood, and then
it's a short iron in.
Cracking shot in there. I remember filming that, thinking that's a great shot, well controlled, managed it in the wind.
Just went a little bit. Was it a little bit short?
A little short, just a fraction short. Yeah, which was a shame because it was. There's a subtle Mackenzie on this green which is hit into and killed it.
Yeah.
Again, good putt, just didn't get the move that you thought you'd get out of it.
Yeah.
Par putt. Just tapping it in.
Yeah, these aren't very easy today.
No, you've got to really focus the mind, haven't you, when you get tough little putts like that.
Well, especially if you've missed a few that day already. So par 5 here. This is a really go-gettable hole. This you want to be birdieing this. It's tough green. It's well bunkered. This up by the green, but hit a pretty good shot up the right, which is the safe play really.
Out of bounds really kicks in on the left-hand side, and there's a ditch, and certainly you're in trouble if you miss it left. You've got to be so careful coming in.
But it also, you want it up the left really because it gives you the best angle in for your second.
Yeah.
But you'd be a bit of an aggressive player to play it up the left.
I think you went for your kind of 4-iron in here and just mishit it slightly.
Slight mishit. But it's not that far away, in proximity to the hole. But it left myself a difficult shot.
Nasty.
I didn't have a great lie here, so I'm going to have to try and dig this a little bit to try and get it up over and try and stop it, which I think off that lie was probably going to be impossible.
Yeah.
But I played a pretty good shot, probably out to about, I'm going to say about 8 feet, 7 feet.
Anywhere short of that pin, it all kicks down.
It kicks down.
So anyway, you're always going to go past that cup from there.
And hit a good putt there, and that was a much needed birdie.
Yeah.
And again, those birdies do kind of give you a bit of
hope.
Yeah, and they certainly give you a bit of a shot of happiness when you're not feeling great at the time. So it's amazing what a birdie can do for you, certainly mentally. Good tee shot up here, shortish par 4, dogleg slightly right, and hit a good drive. It's quite an aggressive play.
Yeah, that foam that people would have seen there on the fairway, that's just like a dressing that they put out, a bit of fertiliser, and get it moving.
It just shows where they've sprayed.
Yeah.
So that when they go over with the tractor or whatever, they can see.
They can see where they've been.
Yeah.
Little pitch shot in.
Yes, you see there looking, as Lester doesn't look at the grass, but I tend to.
Yeah, you keep an eye on it. Yeah.
But you can see the grass there. The way I was looking at it, it was moving off the right and slightly into. Little pitch shot in here, little shot in, which I was a little bit frustrated about because there's a Mackenzie there.
Huge one, biggest
come
one.
up
New green,
and it's on the top of it. The pin's on the top of it, so I was a little bit frustrated.
So you're at the bottom level.
But yeah, quite a tricky putt up. Always are tricky when you're going up ridges like this.
Just to get the pace.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know how much it's going to kill it, or
severely uphill. So
in that slope there.
Good putt there to just leave a tap in. That's a good position.
Yeah.
So happy with that.
Tough tee shot this. Road runs through the middle.
Probably the toughest hole on the golf course. This.
Yeah. And I think you're going with forward down here.
Yeah, you can't hit driver because it narrows crazily up there, and then also there's a road with a little hazard.
And the fairway is so tilted that everything kicks down to the left. And even when it was wet, when you were playing it there, it still ended up down in the left rough.
And it leaves, if you do get a bit defensive off the tee, it does leave you then a really tough shot in. So I've got a real long iron here, which I'm trying to kind of...
Yeah, hugging the right, because it all feeds in out that right-hand side there.
Yeah.
And then you're in the lap of the golfing gods here now, aren't you? Because that could run and end up in that trap. That could have ended up short left. You got away with it in some ways to leave yourself on the front edge there.
You can see where I'm aiming here. This is a crazy amount of slope on this
Huge
green.
putt.
And
first 6-7 feet
it's got to
in
be
the air.
60, 70 feet, and I've hit a hell of a putt there,
Yeah.
really. You see how much that's just literally sideways at the end there. Left myself one of my...
You can't practice stuff like that.
No, not really.
It's just a little bit of experience.
Feel, experience. And that, yeah, I didn't want too many of those today, but
so
that was a good putt.
Still at 5 over.
Yeah.
Again, like I was, so when I'm filming this video, I'm thinking to myself that, you know, I'm kind of excited in the fact that, you know, Paul's playing some great golf. The comeback is on. This is what this video is kind of all about now. You can start to see, hopefully, the comeback coming back from having a really, really bad start. So, feeling like you're getting something going.
It's just damage limitation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to finish as good as you can, and if you stay in there, you can get breaks like that. You know,
Bit of excitement there.
Massive excitement.
That's the first smile I saw on your face all day.
I think I've damaged the pin there as well.
Yeah, I think you've rattled that, haven't you?
It did go in a bit hard, but...
And again, there's a situation where pin-in does actually help.
Yeah.
Because the chances of that hitting the back of the hole and stopping...
Yeah, it can. It depends on the pin. You need a good, straight pin. If it's got any sort of slant on it, it can kick them out. But
now, this is actually 16, but it is actually the 17th playing as 16. Great tee shot up the right-hand side, trying to draw it down there.
Yeah, left myself a nice little pitch in, and I have no idea what's happened here. I've just hit a full-on fat, which, again, I've not done that for probably 5 years, hit it.
But you're on a massive downslope.
Yeah.
Massive downslope.
Yeah.
So, but frustration, because you've made a nice little birdie.
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
it back to 4.
You got it back, and then you're just about to give it back again, looking at... Because now I've left myself an even more difficult shot. You can't see this.
You can't see this slope that's just Paul lands it at the bottom of that slope.
It was too good. What you can't see there as well, that green just run. That this putt here now is quite a lot downhill.
Yeah.
You can't really see it on the camera angle, but that I played that pitch so well, and I was a bit unlucky there really. Yeah, and I've hit a really good putt here, and you just see it just kind of
snapped right at the end,
and maybe caught something and just bumped a bit. I don't know, but it was a good putt, and that's just frustrating to make.
So back to 5.
Yeah, and you think, with that short par 4 coming up, you think you could get a birdie there, but to make a bogey it's almost like a double bogey really. So
this is the hole that they kind of use as a backup hole really. Little par 3.
Nice little par 3 actually.
Not happy with the strike.
Wasn't a great strike.
You can see it leaking right.
Yeah.
So face is probably a bit open, a bit weak.
Possibly. It's
big putt up the hill.
Gave myself a nice putt. And actually my long putting is actually probably the best part of my putting. I'm actually not far off of where I need to be with the long putts. It's the shorter putts that I've got, the stats will suggest that I've got a bit of a problem with.
Yeah.
Drivable par 4 18th.
Yeah.
Hit a really good tee shot, which finishes in the bunker.
Yeah, up and over, you're not going to sit down.
Right, a quick apologies for you. Paul actually ended up in this greenside bunker, which is probably about a 20-yard, 30-yard shot. And you'll see the end result of where it ends up there. Didn't switch the camera on.
Sorry about that.
That was my best shot of the day.
It was your best shot of the day.
And you've managed to...
I know. And left yourself what, 5 feet?
Yeah.
4 or 5 feet down the hill, little out the left.
Tough little putt.
For birdie.
And
to finish at 3 over par.
Yeah. So that was... I think I finished tied 6th.
Yeah.
I think, but if you kind of put me back to where I was after 6 holes, that was kind of a bit of a fairy tale position really to finish. So,
and actually to finish tied 6th, I don't know if you pick up any money for that, but ultimately you're
just outside the money. But
you picked up a few order merit points.
Order merit points,
which is always important for you. I know
very
that.
important, isn't it?
I thought that video and the opportunity to film with Paul in a round of golf when things don't go right, and Paul's had, you got to remember, Paul's a fantastic golfer and has had lots of success even after this. You've gone Pro-Am wins this year, and you've gone on to some bigger and better things, and certainly the Alliance at Teignmouth. But I think there's so many positives that you can take out of the fight back on this round, and the facts are that I would say that 70% of the field in your situation at 6 over par are going to give up. And I don't know if that's a mindset that you have when you're playing golf, that a lot of the time there's 50% of the field are not going to be featuring in this event, should we say, because they're going to give up or it's not going to have a great start and things. But
it comes from playing multiple rounds of golf in tournaments, so 3-4 round tournaments. You know, you can't, if you're going to play a 4-round tournament, you can't have one day where you just give up, because it leaves you too much to do the other days. So you have to damage limitate on those bad rounds, so that when you come back tomorrow, you've still got a chance to do something in the tournament, because you can go out and shoot. You know, loads of people have done it, gone out and shoot at 61, 62 the next day, and get themselves right back in the tournament, and then they look back at the bad round they had and say, oh, if I'd have saved myself, I could have saved myself 4 or 5 shots that day, even though I still would have shot a high score, but it would have positioned me way up higher in the tournament. So it comes from that, and also, you know, like picking up order of merit points. Your bad days, I always think you're going to get X amount of bad days every year. However good a golfer, if you're the world's best golfer, you're going to get a certain amount of bad days. But the key is to turn those bad days into not so bad days.
Absolutely.
And if you can do that, that's where you become a consistent golfer. It's that fight of when it's not going your way, you can still turn even if you have to work really hard to turn an 80 into a 78, it's worth doing.
You don't know what everybody else is doing.
You never know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I hope you've actually learnt something from that. I certainly, just walking around with Paul and knowing, I kind of had an inkling that Paul would fight back and get something back out of this round, even though he was 6 over and his head was gone, and he kind of didn't want me anywhere near him at that point, which is fine, and I understand that. So I just felt that by recording it, by continuing the journey with you on this round, that there'd be so much that people could learn from it. And even though this is the stats show, there's also the mental area of this, of how you deal with bad rounds of golf, how you deal with unfair greens or unfair bounces and things like that. It's about focusing on never giving up and focusing on the next chapter and what you can learn from what you got from that. Just out of curiosity, did you pick anything out from that round that pushed you on, or is it one of those rounds that you just say, do you know what, it's the rub of the green, it is what it is, it's winter, kind of the end of winter golf, you know, you just move on?
Yeah, I think it was just one of my bad days, you know, I could see straight on. I wasn't putting well, you know, if I was putting better from short range, I probably would have, you know, maybe been under par. But I think you're just going to get bad days like that, and you just got to, you know, you take, you know, any round of golf that I play, I always analyse it, whether it be statistical, whether it be from a mental perspective, and then you can learn something from that. So that day, I always think if you have a bad day, don't waste it. Learn something from it, so that your next time you improve. So it's not wasted. You've had a bad day, but you've improved because of it. So it helps in your development as a golfer.
Absolutely right. Well, slightly longer one there for you with our stat show. Hope you stayed with us and kept going along with us, and hope you learned something. I'd like to hear down in the comments down below, what did you think about that? Do you want to see a little bit more of that as we move forward? I certainly think that we can all learn something from that video, and we'll see everybody again on the next stat show.
Sounds good.
See you later.